In Tennessee, the woods are supposed to be home. The ridgeline behind the house, the tree line at the edge of the field, the trail your family has walked for 3 generations. It never feels like a place that can hurt you. But talk to the people who have lived there their whole lives, and you'll notice something. They watch where they step. Most lists of dangerous animals rank them by size or venom or how frightening they look on camera. This one doesn't. We're ranking 11 Tennessee animals by how much they've earned the caution of the people who know them best, not the tourists, the locals, weighted by what actually happens here, the real bites, the real diseases, the real numbers logged by the Wildlife Agency, the Health Department, and the Highway Patrol. And here's the pattern you'll notice as we climb. The animals a Tennessean fears most are almost never the biggest ones. The countdown runs from the predators locals mostly shrug off, up to the animal so small and so common that it has genuinely changed how people move through their own backyards. By the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why some people won't walk into the tall grass at all. If you grew up around this kind of country, go ahead and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it helps the channel. And tell me one thing while you're here. Where are you watching from, and what's the one animal that keeps you out of the woods where you live? Drop it in the comments, I read them. Now, the countdown. Number 11. The coyote. We start with the predator locals have mostly made their peace with, which is exactly why it is dangerous. The coyote now lives in all 95 Tennessee counties, and a century ago it lived in none of them. It is not native here. It moved east across the country over the last 100 years, filling the empty space left by the wolves that settlers wiped out. And it arrived in a state with no folklore about it, no inherited warning. So when one crosses a field at dusk, the Tennessee mind reaches for stray dog because that is the only file it has. That misread is the whole problem. A coyote is an opportunist of extraordinary flexibility. It eats rodents, fruit, garbage, and to the quiet grief of a lot of rural pet owners, the outdoor cat or the small dog left too close to the tree line. Attacks on people are genuinely rare, which is why it sits at number 11, but it earns its place because it proves the theme of this whole list. The animals Tennesseans stopped fearing are the ones that quietly moved into every county in the state while nobody was looking. Number 10. The cottonmouth. At number 10, we go to the water in the western half of the state because the cottonmouth doesn't live everywhere in Tennessee, and where it does live, people give it a very wide berth. Also called the water moccasin. It's the most aquatic of Tennessee's venomous snakes, and its strongholds are the swamps, drainage ditches, and slow water of West Tennessee and the Highland Rim, with the Reelfoot Lake region among the most famous. Here is the part locals get right and outsiders don't. If you're in East Tennessee, you will not meet one. What people mistake for a cottonmouth there is almost always a harmless water snake, but in its actual range it earns the fear. A cottonmouth bite can cause severe tissue damage, internal bleeding, and extreme pain, and while deaths are rare, every bite is a medical emergency. Its reputation for standing its ground is exaggerated, mostly its posturing, that white cotton mouth thrown open in warning. It ranks at number 10 because it's feared far beyond its true range. But near Reelfoot in summer, that fear is simply accurate. Number 9. The Black Widow. Number 9 is a spider that almost every Tennessean can identify on sight, and that recognition is precisely why it's this low, and no lower. The Black Widow is found in all 95 counties, and unlike most things on this list, people actually know to fear it. The Southern Black Widow is the common one here. Glossy black with that unmistakable red hourglass on the underside of the abdomen. It isn't aggressive, it doesn't chase. It lives quietly in the exact places a Tennessean reaches without looking: the wood pile, the tractor shed, the underside of a porch step, the corner of an outbuilding. Almost every bite happens when a hand or a body presses into a web the person never saw. And the venom is no myth, it's a neurotoxin, and a serious bite brings on waves of muscle cramping, sweating, and pain far out of proportion to the tiny puncture. Deaths are very rare with treatment. It sits at number 9 because the Black Widow gives you a fighting chance. It's visible, it's known, and it would rather be left alone. The one just below it on this list offers no such courtesy. Number 8. The copperhead. Number 8 bites more Tennesseans than any other snake in the state, and it does it by being impossible to see. The copperhead is the snake responsible for the most snake bites in Tennessee, and its entire strategy is disappearance. It lives everywhere: forested areas, rocky outcrops, suburban woodpiles, garden beds, the leaf litter along any trail in the state. And those coppery hourglass bands are not decoration. They are a near perfect match for dead leaves and dappled shade. The snake's first defense isn't to flee, it's to hold absolutely still and trust that you won't see it. Which means the classic Tennessee copperhead bite happens to someone who never knew the snake was there until the strike landed on their ankle. Here's the reassurance, and the reason it's only number 8. Copperhead venom is comparatively mild, and deaths are extremely rare, often tied to a pre-existing condition. Roughly half of its bites are dry, with no venom at all. But a copperhead will strike without hesitation when surprised, and in this state it is surprised constantly, because it is lying exactly where you're about to put your foot. Number 7. The timber rattlesnake. Climb one rung and the venom gets serious. The timber rattlesnake is the largest venomous snake in Tennessee, up to 6 feet long, and it carries the most potent venom of any snake in the state. It lives in the wooded, rocky hillsides and mountains of Tennessee, sunning on south-facing bluffs coiled among logs and leaf litter and stone. Its venom is hemotoxic. It stops blood from clotting and destroys tissue and organs. And an untreated bite from a large one is a genuine threat to your life, not just your comfort. This is the snake the old-timers respect most. And yet, it's number 7, not number 1, because for all its power, the timber rattlesnake is the gentleman of Tennessee's vipers. It's slow to anger, reluctant to strike, and it usually gives you the one thing nothing else on the upper half of this list will: a warning. That dry, buzzing rattle telling you to stop and back away. Respect the sound, and you'll almost always walk home. The animals ranked above it don't rattle, don't warn, and don't care whether you saw them coming. We're past the halfway point, and from here up, the warnings get quieter, and the animals get harder to avoid. If you're still with me, hit subscribe. The top 5 are the ones locals genuinely plan their day around.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. A guide for people like us, who'd rather know what's out there than get caught off guard. It's the Wild States Field Kit. The guides that show you which dangerous animals are moving in near you, exactly what to do when you meet one, and how to keep them off your property. Because these animals are spreading faster than most people realize. And the time to learn this is before you're standing face to face with one. Don't wait until it's in your backyard. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link below. Go ahead, I'll wait right here.
Now, number 6. Number 6. The brown recluse. Number 6 is the spider that turns a scratch into a wound that eats through your skin, and you may never feel it happen. The brown recluse is common across Tennessee and found in every county, and its danger is written into its name. It hides. It is a small, tan spider with a dark violin shape behind its head, and it wants nothing to do with you. It tucks into woodpiles, under logs and rocks, in sheds and stored boxes, and the folds of clothing left in the garage. Most bites happen when a person unknowingly presses against one, pulling on a boot, moving a stack of firewood, rolling over in a bed it had wandered into. And the bite is often painless at first. That's the trap. Because in about 1 in 10 cases, the venom is necrotic. Over the following days, the skin around the bite darkens, dies, and sloughs away, leaving an open ulcer that can take 2 to 4 months to heal. In rare cases, mostly in children, it turns systemic and life-threatening. It ranks at number 6 because it will never announce itself. By the time a Tennessean knows the recluse was there, the wound is already opening. Number 5. The elk. At number 5, the danger gets big again, bigger than anything else in the Tennessee woods. The elk is the largest land animal in the state, and for a century and a half it wasn't here at all. Elk were wiped out of Tennessee in the mid-1800s. Then, starting in the early 2000s, wildlife managers reintroduced them to the North Cumberland region of East Tennessee, and the herd took hold. Today, those mountains hold a growing population of animals that can top 700 pounds, and most visitors treat them like scenery. That's the mistake. A bull elk in the fall rut is a different creature entirely, flooded with hormones, guarding his harem, and willing to charge anything that gets between him and a cow, antlers first. Wildlife officers plead with people every year to keep their distance because a rutting bull does not bluff, and a cow with a calf in spring is nearly as dangerous. It ranks at number 5 and not higher because the elk range is still relatively small, and the animal is easy to see coming. But as that herd spreads across East Tennessee, the odds of the wrong encounter climb with it. Number 4. The wild boar. Number 4 is an animal the state of Tennessee has openly declared war on and is losing to. The wild boar is not native to this continent, and its Tennessee story starts with a fence that failed. Around 1912, European wild boar were brought to a hunting preserve on the North Carolina line. Dozens escaped into the mountains, bred and spread. A century later, they have overrun the state. Once found in 15 counties, feral hogs now roam roughly 80 of Tennessee's 95, from the Smokies all the way to the edge of Memphis. The Wildlife Agency officially classifies them as destructive, and despite year-round hunting, trapping, and thousands killed annually, the population keeps growing. A big boar can push past 600 pounds, armored in muscle, with self-sharpening tusks and 44 teeth. They're mostly nocturnal, they travel in family groups, and they are genuinely aggressive when cornered or defending young, a wall of muscle and bone coming through the underbrush in the dark. They also carry diseases like brucellosis that can jump to humans. It lands at number 4 because it's the animal even the professionals can't get ahead of. In 80 counties, the woods now belong partly to the hogs. Number 3. The white-tailed deer, and now the twist. Number 3 is the gentlest animal on this entire list, and by the only measure that counts the number of Tennesseans it actually kills, it is deadlier than every predator we've named combined. There are roughly 900,000 white-tailed deer in Tennessee, up from about 2,000 in the 1940s. They are beautiful, timid, and utterly woven into the landscape at the exact edge where the forest meets the road. And that edge is where they kill. In 2022 alone, the Tennessee Highway Patrol logged nearly 6,800 deer vehicle collisions, with over 300 injuries and 4 people dead. Nationwide, deer strikes kill around 200 people a year. The danger peaks in the fall, from October into December, when the rut sends bucks crashing across highways with no regard for headlights, and most of it happens in the dark, at dawn and dusk, when a deer materializes in the road with no time to stop. It ranks at number 3 because it upends the whole idea of a dangerous animal. It has no venom, no claws, no intent. It doesn't hunt you. It simply steps out of the woods you thought were safe, and that alone makes it one of the deadliest animals in the state. Number 2, the black bear. At number 2 is the animal that owns the Tennessee wilderness in the popular imagination, and unlike the deer, this one can mean it. The Great Smoky Mountains hold around 1,900 black bears, roughly 2 per square mile. the densest black bear population in the eastern United States, inside the most visited national park in the country. Most encounters are harmless. The bears usually want to avoid you. But the National Park Service now warns of something people don't expect from a black bear: predatory behavior, including stalking, especially of solo hikers. This is not the mother defending cubs everyone pictures. This is a bear that has decided to follow you. In 2024, wildlife officials logged a sudden spike in bears making physical contact with people around Gatlinburg. 6 reports in a single year against just 2 in the 2 years before. And back in 2000, on the Little River Trail, a hiker named Glenda Bradley became the first person ever killed by a black bear in any American national park. The bears were feeding on her when she was found. It ranks at number 2 because when a black bear here turns predatory, it is quiet, it is patient, and it does not warn you. The thing that keeps it from number 1 is simply that it's rare. What sits above it is not rare at all. Number 1. The Lone Star Tick. And so we arrive at number 1, and it is smaller than a sesame seed. The Lone Star Tick is the animal that has genuinely changed how Tennesseans move through their own land. The reason a lifelong local will stand at the edge of a summer field and simply decide not to walk into it. Here is what makes it worse than everything above it. Unlike a snake that waits or a bear that avoids you, the Lone Star Tick hunts. It is aggressive. It detects a host and actively crawls toward you rather than waiting to be brushed against. It's the most common tick across much of the state, and it carries a roster of illness: ehrlichiosis, tularemia, the Heartland virus. And its signature horror is alpha-gal syndrome, a bite that can rewrite your immune system and leave you violently, sometimes fatally, allergic to red meat for the rest of your life. Beef, pork, lamb, even dairy. The CDC has counted over 100,000 suspected alpha-gal cases and estimates the true number could approach 500,000. And it's not alone out there. The American dog tick in these same woods and fields carries Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which can kill if it isn't caught in time. The Lone Star Tick is number 1 because it is the purest answer to the question this whole list is asking. It is nearly invisible. It comes toward you on purpose, and the price of one bite you never felt can be a lifetime. That is why some people won't enter the woods at all. So look back down the list and notice what it's really telling you. The coyote and the bear and the elk are the animals we put on postcards, the big, obvious dangers. But the closer we climb to the thing that actually keeps Tennesseans out of the woods, the smaller and quieter the animal got. A snake in the leaves, a spider in the woodpile, a deer at the tree line, a tick you will never feel. The ridgeline is still behind the house. The trail is still there. 3 generations still know every turn of it, and they still watch where they step. What is known is that the woods in Tennessee were never really a hallway and never really tame, that the green tunnel behind the porch has always been full, top to bottom, of things that were here first. That the danger was never mostly the animals with teeth, and that the next time you stand at the edge of the tall grass on a warm evening and feel, for no reason you can name, that you'd rather not go in, that feeling is older than you are, and it is usually right.